But when we did this as a team, before we tasted, we did these two. We did a Chardonnay from France, we did a Chardonnay from Australia, and then we did a Chardonnay from Napa. And we blind tasted all of them in brown paper bags. Super old school style, but
it was old school.
It was fun to see, especially, we have some new team members here, so it was fun to see people's eyes kind of go, wow, Chardonnay, same grape, tastes 5 completely different ways. It doesn't just have to taste like the one thing. You get a lot of what we call ABC drinkers, anything but Chardonnay. Yep. They come in and they see 2 Chardonnays on the fly. They're like, I don't want to do it. You're like, just trust me. You're going to find one of them that you like. And again, it's nice to showcase how one grape can taste different no matter where you're going. That's why you always got to follow wine. Always follow wine.
You got to, brother.
I like this one.
This one is good.
This one is the one that was made of stainless steel. Mm-hmm. And then this one was
Two bottles. You got no one.
This one is actually better. This one right here is a little bit better.
How do you like the preference between the two of them?
I like this one better.
The
second
Reserve
one?
Chardonnay? Yeah, it's got, I think, New World palates, which most of us are. We like a lot more fruit to be kind of in the very front of the palate. I can appreciate, the first one, sipping on that alone. It's clean, it's crisp, it's really pleasant. Yeah. But if I'm looking for, something that's a little bit more robust, something to stand up to some food, I'm definitely playing with the Reserve.
Playing with this one right here. Yeah, you like to see, she likes the first one better.
You like the first one better? Well, that just means you get your own bottle, he gets his own bottle.
There you go.
That's usually how it plays out in my household. There was a brief moment in my relationship where we liked the same things, and I found I never got any of it. Yeah. So then when we like different things, there was a lot more of me of what I wanted to go around.
All right, this is Weddings, Music, and Wine with Mr. Colin here at the Maryhill Winery here in Woodinville. He gave me a good education on Chardonnays, and he's bringing out something else now. Now, what is this, brother?
We're going to move on to some reds, man. We do predominantly reds here, but like I said, the fact that our portfolio has got about 15 plus different white wines in it is kind of rare for the area. Again, a lot of people focus on the reds. It's where the market value is. Yeah. It's also one of the, the reds grow incredibly well really all up and down the West Coast. So the first one is going to be our classic Sangiovese. We use 3 of these. Have you guys had the chance to visit Italy before?
I have. But that was about military, though.
Okay, cool. What branch?
Navy.
Nice. Thanks for the service.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother.
Where'd you go?
Shit. The ship, because I was on 45-day suspension. For fighting.
So you looked at it from over the radar.
I got to see it on the ship, but I did not get to do anything while I was
that
there.
is good punishment.
That is good punishment. Yeah.
Did you shape up after that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You surely did. So you shape up or ship out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you ever, kind of pro tip I ever give, if y'all ever go to Florence or the Tuscany region, one of the best things I ever was told before I went to Italy was, hey, never order anything off a wine list. Always just ask for the house red or the house white. Yeah. There's always going to be something that's made local. It's usually made from someone who's 9th generation making wine just down the street or just out in the countryside. The biggest thing you're going to find, especially in the Tuscany area, is Chianti, which is made from Sangiovese. The great thing about Sangiovese is it is a really light, fruitful style of wine. It's not overly complex. For me, it's definitely the concept of beauty and simplicity. But one of the big things is Sangiovese has an incredibly natural high level of acidity for it. And so that high acid, and pretty much any high acid wines make for great food wines. Yeah. So when you go to Tuscany and you just order a jug of Chianti on the table, it doesn't really matter what food you start bringing out, the Chianti always finds a way to go.
It goes with all of it.
Exactly. So thinking going into summertime, and a lot of times we gear our flights here every month towards what season we're in. Yeah. One of my favorites is always doing Thanksgiving because I'm not a huge turkey fan, so the whole flight that month is whatever's going to save turkey on the table for me.
Exactly.
But right now, we're just coming out of spring and going into summer, so we're looking at especially today, 70 and sunny here in Puget Sound. Yeah. I was barbecuing last night, so
I'm talking about barbecuing all freaking day.
That's right. I mean, this is one of those wines that you can pop out really anytime. It's great on its own. It's super tasty on its own, but you're ever like halfway through a bottle and you're like, okay, now we should start cooking, it doesn't really go into the, when you have a cab, you got to be like, all right, we have to do something that matches up to a cab now. Yep. This does not limit you to that.
Gotcha.
This allows you to really throw anything that you want on there.
Oh, that's good too, brother.
Glad you like it.
Yeah, I like this. What's the name of that one, brother?
That's our classic Sangiovese.
Sangiovese.
You gotta like flail your hand like you're Italian.
Sangiovese. Weddings, music, and wine with New. That's me. We're here with Mr. Colin, team manager, tasting room manager, wine enthusiast, wine extraordinaire. Just a wine god is what he's doing right now. He's giving me so much education right now. What do we have now, brother?
Too much credit, brother. Too much credit. Too much credit. Right, I'll pour it over here so you can finish that other one.
Appreciate you.
This is going to be a Bordeaux varietal called Cabernet Franc. This is from our reserve portfolio, and we kind of already mentioned that our reserves are really reflecting of what our winemakers call it and what our winemakers want to showcase. Gives them the opportunity to, a lot of places you find that winemakers can be stuck to what they're supposed to be making, especially if you go to France or old world Europe. You get a lot of places where they're like, okay, this is what we grow in this region, so this is what you have to make.
Yeah.
Nothing pisses off a winemaker more than being told what you have to make.
Exactly.
So for us, because winemakers are also artists, they need to have kind of an outlet to showcase their creativity. Our reserve portfolio really allows our winemaking team to do that. So again, it's not so much about how things should taste, it's more about what they want to showcase and what their style. So one thing that I love about our reserve reds in general, all of our reserves are in the middle of the floor right there.
Okay.
So there's
right here.
16 of them in that portfolio as well, right up there.
Gotcha.
They're all really balanced. So hopefully you're going to taste on the palate on this. It's juicy. There's a bunch of really ripe, juicy fruit right off the front of the palate.
Completely different from this one.
Oh yeah. The other one, Sangio is a little bit leaner. You feel that acidity. The Cabernet Franc and really all the reds that are in our reserve portfolio are really about balance of fruit, balance of texture. You don't get a lot of the massive tannic finish. It feels like your mouth is drying out.
Yeah.
You get that more juicy mouth watering, like you just bit into a cherry pie or something.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I can go to town on this. And I like that. So again, this is one of those wines where you don't necessarily have to have food. It's really enjoyable just to drink on its own. It's more full body than the Sangiovese is. You find that a lot too with old world wines, and I think you can see that in the Sangiovese versus this. Old world wines can be a little bit leaner on the palate. You don't have as much fruit up front, kind of as lingering on the end.
Yeah.
New world wines tend to be more robust, more full-bodied. I think a lot of us really enjoy that style. If you've got a new world palate, you kind of want something that's going to kick you in the face a little bit.
Exactly. Think you're needed, brother.
Hi.
This is a simple question. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, this is good. And that's how we do it on Weddings, Music, and Wine. I told you guys I was going to be going out to some wineries, wine tasting. We're up in here, Woodinville, Maryhill Winery, talking with Mr. Colin. He's getting, he's still at work, so he's needed right now. So that's what he's doing right now. But he's just keep on bringing out different wines for us to taste. Appreciate him for doing this. Our next winery, I will let you guys know. We are 17 minutes plus in. They said he liked to talk, and he had been talking since we've been here, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely appreciate him. Keep it coming, brother.
We're almost there. You only have to listen to me for a couple more minutes.
No, you've been awesome, man. I appreciate you for doing this.
We're building up to the favorite wine I think you're going to like.
Okay.
Y'all done with this one, though?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Make sure to check this out on Spotify. It's going to be on Spotify tomorrow, so that way you can listen to your voice and appreciate it.
I've done that before, man. It's scary. Scary thing.
I thought that too when I first started doing this, and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds pretty awesome.
I do get a lot. You do radio, you have a radio voice. So first time I heard myself on the radio, it was a little bit. I was a little bit shocked.
What's this one? We're
all right. So on the left-hand side is going to be our signature Bordeaux blend. So that's called Serendipity. Our owners, Craig and Vicky, we're actually one of the oldest still family-owned wineries in Washington State. There's older brands, of course, a lot of sold to other conglomerates, or unfortunately during COVID, we lost a number of family-owned businesses. Unfortunately, the wine industry took a big hit, especially for those that were really dependent on direct-to-consumer traffic and didn't have any distribution channels. I love direct-to-consumer. My time in Sonoma County, I worked with Kendall Jackson. But I also work with small family-owned wineries, and wine clubs for us are what really sustain us. We have an incredible wine club here, and we're one of 4 locations in Washington State from Maryhill. We have another one in Vancouver, Washington. We have another one in Spokane, and then we have our main winery, which is just about an hour-ish south of Yakima. Sits up on the cliffs of the Columbia Valley Gorge, looking over towards Oregon. It's an absolutely beautiful space. The river flows right below it. You look down towards Mount Hood. If you're ever driving down there, definitely stop by. But for us, serendipity. Craig and Vicky, the owners, really believe their kind of entire journey with Maryhill has been serendipitous. You can see kind of our credo here. It's to discover serendipitous connections, inspirational moments, and lasting experiences. So it seemed fitting that kind of one of the most popular blends would be named Serendipity. So this is what would be referred to as a left bank Bordeaux. It is Cabernet Sauvignon dominant, but we also have the other big Bordeaux varietals. So you're going to have Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot all blended into this. Every year, it's very smooth. Every year, the blend will change in terms of its proportions. It'll always be dominated by Cabernet Sauvignon, but as the harvest changes, allowing our winemaker to change the proportions actually makes for a more consistent wine year to year. Because maybe Cab Franc's a little too fruity one year, maybe the Malbec's a little bit too acidic, whatever it is. Allowing the winemakers to really sit down, taste, and we've done blending sessions here at the team. It's no simple task to sit down because 2% of something can completely change how the flavor is. But really, after you do blind tasting and everything for an hour, you really can't taste anything else. You need like a big steak or something to wash it out. And then the other one I poured right next to you, this is our McKinley Springs Cabernet Sauvignon. We do about 7 different cabs in our portfolio. This one is from a vineyard. This is part of our vineyard series. We have a whole selection of wines that are strictly 100% from the vineyard that we say they're from. So this is really in the portfolio where we showcase kind of the unique terroir and climate of Washington State.
It's completely different.
This is rich, bold, super layered, massive tannic structure on the finish. This comes from a vineyard down in Jiosavvan Hills, which is just about 30 minutes past our winery. So if you were going to go out the Columbia Valley Gorge, you go Portland, Hood River, and then another hour, and you kind of follow where Jiosavvan Hills is. You got really intense heat out there, so the grapes are always basking in it. Not a ton of rain, and if there is rain, this is all on a hillside slope, so all that water kind of flows off. So again, the grapes are being deprived of what they really want. And you got a lot of wind too, because we've had wind that has literally taken sides of the winery off the building because Hood River, you can get like 70-mile-an-hour gusts.
That's crazy.
Because the gorge is a wind tunnel. And so all those conditions create an area where the vines struggle to really do what they want to do. What grapes want to do is produce really big, juicy grapes. We don't necessarily want that. We want really thick skin. All those things convert that grape into doing thick skin. It's a natural defense mechanism for them. I'm convinced that phrase, like when you're going through tough times, you tell your friend, like, just grow thick skin. I'm convinced that comes from winemaking. Absolutely. There's a lot of things I'm convinced that, like, everything comes from winemaking.
All of it does.
All of the world's greatest philosophers were all just
sitting there just drinking a whole bunch of wine.
Absolutely.
A bottle to themselves.
Absolutely. You could not convince me otherwise. But that really thick skin, the thicker the skin is, the bigger, bolder flavors you're going to get, the more of that kind of mouth-drying feeling you're going to get, which is all the tannic acidity, which is when now you want to start playing around with the big fatty meats and those big steaks and ribeye. So, I talk about it, and then I'm like, I got to go to the butcher and buy a ribeye tonight.
Which one do you like? Which one do you like?
I like this one better.
The second one?
Weddings, music, and wine. It's all about wine on this episode. Woodinville, Washington, Maryhill Winery. Beautiful winery also. A lot of people, as you can hear in the background, are talking, drinking, having a good time. The bistro in here as well. The building itself is awesome. We're here with Mr. Colin, the tasting manager, talking with him, showing showing me a whole bunch of wines, give me a whole bunch of education too. I'm taking this all in. I'm gonna listen back to it myself and listen to what he got to say, and actually steal a lot of what he's had to say about a bunch of wines and use a lot of his words. So I'm just gonna plagiarize the hell